Gosh, y'all. Never ate so fast in my life. Hey. I know I'm late. I never ate so fast in all my life. I mean, I shoved this bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich down like I was a fat girl eating a piece of cake. I'm telling you. I got it. I need to chat. Let's see. Where's the chat? Live chat. Here we go. Okay. Hey, Mama T. I ate so fast. I feel it. Like I didn't even comb my hair. So you guys get what you get. You wanna know why I sound like that? I'm gonna tell you why I sound like that. Lee. That's why. Lee. I'm going to find this on my phone, and then we will get down to business. Yeah, Lee. Lee's the reason I sound like this. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And Lee is a gift giver. I'll give you that. All right, I need to find YouTube. That way I can read these because I can't normally read and I have to put my glasses off and on and it's just a hot mess. So, let me find our channel here. There we go. I'm looking. Oh no, questions are coming. Hang on just a second. I'm right there. Just give me 1 second and I will turn this down and I'll be able to see your comments and your questions because I can't see them right now because I'm blind as a bat. Oh, I see you. Good morning from rainy Sydney, Australia. Danny? Oh no, what's up, Mr. Danny? Man, have we missed you guys? Where you guys been? Or where have we been? Heck, I don't know. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie, I saw you earlier. Oh, pure connection, thank you. I need this every Monday, but you know, this time frame, y'all, got me a mess. So, so I'm downstairs. Ron just got back from the Dominican Republic. He was there with his work. And today was his first day back. He got back yesterday. Today was his first day back at work. So he works nearby, so we automatically assumed that Ron would be here today. We were not wrong. So Ron came in and I'm just chit-chatting. I'm making dinner and chit-chatting. And Lee was like, do you mean to tell everybody you're going to be late? I'm like, why? It's only like 6 o'clock. He was like, it's 7. Time change. Got me mad. So here I am. I'm coughing because Lee turned over in bed the other night and he was facing me and he was asleep and he coughed and it went here and I had to get up and go to the bathroom and wipe off my face and hold back those comments. I already know they're coming. It's fine. All right, let's get down to it. We got a question already, y'all. I say y'all. Sherry, how did you figure and navigate the connection back when internet and tarot online was not available? I had no idea about the connection before the internet was available. I mean, the internet really became available in the early 90s, and I was married to my 3 daughters' father, and I knew that anybody I had been with up until that point wasn't my big love, but that's all I knew. I really wasn't, I mean, I did a lot of spiritual things. I did tarot readings and things like that, but I didn't know anything about it until 2005. Yeah. Hey everybody. Sydney, goodness, not sure if you saw in the last live, but this St. Patrick's Day will be 3 years, and 3 is a big number for us. Hey Teresa. That's interesting. Um, yeah, same, Danny, same. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Um, some of you I saw over on my Canna Granny Live this afternoon. It was quite interesting. Um, my twin and I have been back and forth. Mind you, we have been married since 2018. But as of now, in separation, he was here over the weekend. He wouldn't accept my marriage status on Facebook. So, ugh. Um, hmm. It kept going. So I posted loved on his Facebook wall, and today I look and it's all deleted. I'm so confused. This connection is driving me insane. Girl, or yes, Danny, Lee did get me sick, but pure connection. Um, Girl, when you say um, this connection, this journey drives you insane, you're preaching to the whole choir here. Everybody who's on here knows how difficult it is and knows how interesting this whole journey is. And I believe it's drove us all insane for a reason. We're definitely here and we're definitely being driven insane for a reason, because none of us really do need to be sane, do we? I mean, we're not of here, so we don't need to be of here. Lose your mind to gain further understanding. I totally believe in that. I really believe that we do feel like we're crazy and insane. And I feel like there's a whole lot of people who are locked up for being crazy and insane, and when really they're just twin flames are connected. I believe that with everything I have in me. So let's get real, because Sherry gets all the way real. And I don't like to, but there are a few scenarios here, right? And why is my nose shiny? I don't know. Anyway, there's a few scenarios here. I'm going to tell you the red flags that come up in my mind. And if you guys, look, this is how I roll, this is how I do things. There's a reason he is not allowing a relationship status from you. Who is he hiding that from? So let's get real and find out, who is he hiding his relationship status from that has access to his Facebook or his social media? That's the first question that pops up with me. That's what grills at me. So I'm curious. I'm curious of that. Yeah, he did. Hey Sherry, how did you navigate your divorce process? I'm about to file for it, and my husband is dragging his feet about coming to agreements.
Check the home app.
Siri. So, with us, it was super easy, because at the point where Ron and I got divorced, Lee was already a part of our lives, and I mean our lives. So, Lee got divorced. He hadn't been with his ex-wife in many years. As a matter of fact, he lived with other women. While he was technically married on paper, he was living with other women as well. So they were not together since his son was 2, I think, 2-ish, which ironically is how old Cameron was when Lee came into our lives. And by then, Ron and I were just trying to find time to get down to the courthouse and get papers filed. We did it all ourselves. We went to the bookstore, got our little online packet that we had to do. We filled it all out, took it back to the courthouse 3 and 4 times after we had to make amendments, and then finally they accepted it. We walked into court laughing, having a good time, talking to each other. We sat with each other out in the waiting room. We kind of iffied around and joked around in the courtroom, and we were granted our divorce. It was seamless, because we were both ready. dragging his feet about coming to agreements sounds no would put me in the mind of financial things and marital assets, and we didn't have any, so we really didn't have anything to come to an agreement about except for Cameron, and that was pretty much easy. Look, we're going to parent him together no matter what, and that's it, and we have. Lose your mind to regain your heart and true self. Ain't that the truth? Ooh, she runs, I hide. Ooh, that sounds like a process that I'm familiar with. I didn't know, haven't watched old videos, so didn't Lee come before Ron or after? So, yes. The answer to that question is yes. I met Lee in 2005, and we sort of had that little back and forth thing going where I was trying to figure out what he was up to, or what he was doing, or who he was. And then Lee and I slept together. After that day, we didn't see each other for 2 years, or didn't have any contact. I was ready for him to go. He was ready for me to go. It was just way too intense. So during those 2 years, I met Ron. And before I married Ron, Lee got back in contact with me. So, and that was pretty much, that was pretty much it. And then Ron and I made it really about another 8-9 months to where we were living in the same home, but we weren't living as a couple, I guess I should say. And then I started really seriously talking to Lee again. So in the process of that, we figured out the connection and what it was about, and it really seemed like it was seamless. There's no other way to, yeah. Divorce for Dummies is a great book. Yeah, I've seen that, though. I haven't read it, but maybe we should have. Maybe I should have. Yes, I did. Ashwini, I did. Yeah. And to recap my answer, I actually just got finished with it. Yes and yes. I met Lee before I met Ron, but we had been in a 2 year of no contact. And then Lee came back, and he wasn't right. He wasn't right. Y'all, he wasn't right. So I married Ron. And and yeah, that wasn't going anywhere. So so Lee and I started talking after Ron and I separated, and here we are. Ron's downstairs with Lee right now, eating dinner and watching a show. Oh, Corey, what exactly is union? All right. We all have different definitions. I know mine would probably be very different from Lee's, but my definition of union is heaven. It's samadhi. It is one. One. That's how I would definitely define it, is one. So it's two combined, and that could mean a plethora of things. It doesn't necessarily have to mean a significant other. It can definitely, you can be in union, definitely am in union with yourself, for sure. And that's two combining into one. It's your past and your present. And it's in union with all things. It's in samadhi with all things. Um, let's see. Found myself running from a twin because of things that I'm seeing about him in dream state, but not in reality. How much should we trust in subconscious mind on this journey? The dreams are much. I'm gonna tell you, Jasmine. That's a great question. Um, I'm able to tell the differences in my dream states, but I wasn't before, so it's not always been something that I've been able to do. I can simply tell if the dream has come from my mind or from my soul. There's a lot of times that we might go to bed with a red fire truck on our mind. There could be a red fire truck outside. You could have heard one right before you went to sleep. Things like that happen, and you dream about a red fire truck. It's kind of what's going on in here. In here, a lot of times will come out. A lot of times the dreams will be fears of yours that are coming out as well. I can tell if my dream is spiritual and it tries to tell me something because I feel it in here. And I can tell if I'm dreaming of something that my mind has created because I feel it in here. And I hope that kind of will help you pay attention to when you wake up and the dream has kind of stayed with you all day. Is it staying with you up here and adding more what ifs? Or is it staying here and just accepting what it is? Oh, Sharon, I'm alive. Sherry present. Not just too long ago. Oh, no. A terrible infection of the throat and ears connected to... I'm sorry to hear that. Can you touch on connection, boundaries, and depression? Oh, you got to charge that up, Ashwini. Get it together, honey. So, Mama T, I can certainly. Boundaries. A lot of us don't like to talk about boundaries and connection, but a lot of times it's super necessary. I believe in the breaking down of boundaries once you're headed towards union. The only way you can head towards union is to break down a lot of all the old boundaries that you have in you for some reason or another, right? Could be anything. However, if there's abuse of any kind, and that could mean it could mean physical abuse, it could mean mental, emotional abuse, it could also mean the other person abusing you in other ways by abusing themselves. It could mean that person you're connected to may have a drug problem or a woman problem or a gambling problem, or it could be a sex problem, a plethora of things, right? A whole different things. However, if whatever circumstances they are harm you in any way, shape, or form, and that could be mentally, emotionally, physically, any way, shape, or form, if they are harming you and they aren't aiding in a healing process that you have to go through or that you need to go through, then there needs to be boundaries set up. Obviously, I shouldn't even have to mention physical abuse. If there's physical abuse present, there's got to be boundaries of space, right? You can't have a person putting their hands on you, right? That's super unhealthy, and there has to be a boundary set there. And a lot of times it's just a no contact boundary, period. And then a lot of that comes with emotional boundaries that we put up. We definitely have to, at times, have those up. But, and I use that word, but, and I automatically hear the alarms going off in my head, right? But there has to be a sort of an extreme, situation to be able to build brick and mortar, emotional walls. I was sexually abused, so I still have weirdest things go on in this room. Hear that? It's weird. Boundaries. I have a lot of boundaries when it comes to intimacy. Just certain things may trigger a memory or may, so I'm very careful with really trying to be aware of those boundaries and knowing when I need them and when I don't. And in union, I don't need them. And I still sometimes feel like a human where I need to protect myself. And I find myself carrying bricks, pushing them down, slapping the thing on them, and then pulling the concrete back off, taking the brick back over and set down. I don't need this wall. And so there was something other, depression. You know, I'm not sure how that question sort of, if it's boundaries in depression or if it's boundaries and depression. But certainly if the one that you're connected to is having, or you're having issues with depression, and there's something happening inside that needs to come out, just to look at it. And I do this all the time, and I do this on the live all the time where I have to look at it. There's something inside you that's the root of this depression, and there's something that's inside of you that's the root of these boundaries, and there's something inside of you that is also the root of this connection, right? Whether it be a romantic partner, a best friend, partner, a parent, a relative, any way, shape, or form. I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope I didn't sound too much like Lee either. I'm also experiencing Saturn retro and Pisces. Oh my goodness. It's so, yeah. That the whole astrology thing is a lot. And that I try not to personally get too far into it, because in the first few years of our union, I was fearing retrograde, and I realized after a long period of time, if I didn't fear it, it didn't affect me. It was odd. Am I supposed to save the property, or sell it? I keep feeling I want to ask my twin to help me build a healing arts center. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone as well, and sang in public for the first time. Congratulations, Hugs. That's a great big deal. It's a really big deal. And you know, I would really talk to Spirit about that, Hugs, and see which way Spirit's leading you, and which way you feel at ease at. If it's you sell it and the money goes towards that you make would go towards the healing center, or would you make a healing center out of where you're at? I mean, is it what you would be looking for, and would you be looking for those amenities in someplace else? So it's kind of like, that's something that I would maybe ask Spirit about. If you have a pendulum, I mean, I do pendulum readings as well, but if you have one, I would certainly consult that, or consult the cards. Kelly, hey, Kelly. Oh, for sure. And you're here, right? Aren't you in the States? I think Lee said you were in the States. I don't know. Those sounds are all messages coming in for some. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Ma'am, how did you both deal with no contact, which you said for 2 years? Hi from Portugal. And you're welcome, Hugs. Oh, that's awesome, Kelly. I think he said you were in Tennessee, maybe, which isn't too awful far. How did you both deal with no contact, which you said for 2 years? Look, the first year, for about 6 months, I did some light stalking. I mean, I would call his work to find out if he still worked there. I would cruise by his work to see if I could find his car there. Like, I called a couple of his jobs. I would constantly check social media. Of course, he wasn't on there. I was constantly checking the dating apps. That's where I found him. He was all over those dating apps. Yeah, so for about 6 months, I pretty much chased him. He didn't know it at the time. He knows it now because I told him. But then I went on with my life. I realized and accepted the fact that I had met my big love, and this was in 2009. Yeah, 2009 when he contacted me again, and it had been a full 2 years, and I just accepted the fact that we weren't going to be together. But I was grateful that I had met my big love, and I knew it was real, and I knew that I wasn't crazy for growing up having that embedded in my soul, and knowing that he was out there, and maybe I would find him and maybe I wouldn't, but I did, and we found each other, and it was beautiful, and it was over because maybe we weren't meant to be together here in this realm. It's just I truly feel like our energies just found each other because they're very connected. So we weren't in the same state or the same area, and then we were when we were a little bit older, and then we were again when we were a little bit older. If you've watched any of our journey, you know that our energies had met up a couple times as we were growing up, actually, and we didn't realize it until after we met that our paths had crossed a few times. And it was beautiful, and I was okay. I was okay with just knowing that he was out there and that we had the few moments that we did have, and I went into acceptance and I moved on with my life. And I'm glad I did, because now I have Cameron, and I wouldn't know what life would be like without him. And Ron, even, meeting Ron, opened my eyes even bigger that he wasn't my big love, and I knew it. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that 2 years separation. There was a few separations, another one for another year, but we stayed in contact most of the time that year. All the time that year. We didn't lose contact. But yeah, I was strong enough to move on, and I did. And I don't regret it. And I completely I completely support any of you that need to move on from a toxic connection into the dating world, into trying to find somebody who treats you with respect and the love that you deserve. Let's see. What can we do if our twin is famous? What would the universe do that? It seems cruel. Boy, do we have an awful lot of clients that this happens to. An awful lot of clients. And the interesting thing is, and if you watch some of our videos from the past, you'll actually hear us say multiple times that it's not just one way. It's equally the other way, y'all. Like, we have celebrity clients, big celebrity clients, who have a twin or someone they're connected to that they know is them, and they may be a fan, and they see them at like every show or at most shows, or around town if they live in the same town. But you wouldn't believe the people that we have on both sides. That you wouldn't believe how many that we've actually talked to and given advice to, and we still get emails sometimes that's amazing. That's like, you're not gonna believe this. Here's me. Here's our picture, and oh my gosh, you guys met, and that's amazing. And it's both ways, and I don't feel like the universe has anything to do with matching you up to somebody who isn't accessible, because everybody's accessible. There's no person who's not accessible, especially with energy and with telepathy, right? We can have those communications with them, and you can certainly set up a 3D meeting in a 5D communication. It's happened. Promise, it happened. Hi, Sherry. I've been feeling detached from my divine masculine, forgetting whatever I have been through with him. I feel guilty about focusing on myself in the process of forgetting him. Something doesn't feel good. So, you can't forget. That's the thing. You're trying to do something that can't be done. And I'm never one, never one that says anything can't be done. I've beat an awful lot of things. So I do believe that everything is accessible and attainable. Coming from someone who was in hospice care, waiting my last breath, and here I sit. So, forgetting. Let's switch that a little bit. Detaching from makes more sense. How you've detached from your DM. But you can't forget what you've been through with them. You just can't. But feeling guilty about focusing on yourself is just such a waste of a beautiful mind, right? Your creative, lovely, beautiful, amazing, spiritual mind that brings peace, right? Not your brain, but the part of it that brings peace, right? All that guilt is taking away from that. So take that out of there and replace it with something positive. Because loving yourself is the greatest love of all. I am not in any way, shape, or form self-absorbed or vain, quite the opposite. But I really do believe that loving yourself is the greatest love you can give, and then that opens the door for others to love you and for you to love others. Something doesn't feel good because you're trying to fight off a memory. And there's a reason you have those. So if we try to detach from the universe has for us, right? It's telling the universe that we don't trust it in the first place. So switch it up a little bit and appreciate what you've been through and accept what you've been through and give thanks for that and love yourself even more. Tell yourself you love yourself even more. Do even more things for yourself. And that ultimately what's going to heal your attachment to him. How do you know if you're supposed to be with your twin in this lifetime? Well, the first way is because you've come in contact with him, right? Or her, whatever, them. That's your first clue, right? Or you may know who it is, or you may feel like you know who it is. That would be a first clue for me. But I don't think any of us know. I think that a lot of us are able to find our mission and are open enough to find our mission. And if that happens to be part of it, then it sort of falls into our lap. It sort of falls there. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form an easy thing. It's not easy. I shouldn't, instead of saying falls, I should say slam down. And there's a knowing. There's a knowing in your knower, way down deep in your knower. Just way down deep in your knower, and you know. This is where I'm right now. I am finally accepting that I have met him, and he may not be together here. He and I may not be together here. I have so much love for him, and it's okay to let it be. And find soulmates that love me. Perfection. Love yourself enough to let go of the obsession and find love. I love that. I feel as if Big Love and I have shared past lives. Is that common? I don't know, because my personal beliefs are a lot different than a lot of other people's. I don't necessarily believe that we reincarnate as other humans, or whatever. I feel like energy is very present, even though my grandmother, my friends, my father are gone physically. I still feel them here with me, like they're here. And I feel like I've had those moments where I thought maybe we knew each other, maybe our energies have crossed in the past where I wasn't conscious of that. So I don't know. I don't know. That would be like, me revealing some secret spiritual place where we've been before. And I kind of try not to even wonder what I was before, if I was before, how I was before. I just kind of focus on here in the present moment, who I am now, and who I want to be if I wake up tomorrow. And that doesn't necessarily mean that's who I'm going to be. It could be anything. I just, if you feel like your energies have combined, or crossed paths in the past, and that very well may be, if that person was very familiar to you when you met them. I'm not sure how that. I just don't know. I just don't know. I knew it, Connor Reeves, babe. Get my address from Sherry. I'm trying to move on to a soulmate relationship. But my twin will not leave me alone in 5D energy. He is constantly sending me energy to spoil my connection and hold me back from moving away. Why are you accepting? Why are you accepting that? That's a big question. Like, why are you allowing him to penetrate your present moment? Yeah, you don't have to allow that. You really don't. Nothing is going to be able to spoil that if you don't let it. Yeah, you've got to stop giving permission for that to enter into your present moment. People forget celebrities are people who at one point may not have had success, or may not have it later. They're just people. That's very true. Abundant. It's very true. I happen to have been talking to somebody this morning who is very much in the secular public eye. And, it's aside from the pictures and the cameras and the movies or the concerts or whatever they are, besides what that person does for a living, doesn't overshadow the fact that they still are human and have needs, wants, desires. They still feel crazy over this journey. They still have questions over this journey. We have had celebrity clients that we've had since 2011, and that we still talk to this day. And it's because this journey is rocky, and it doesn't mean that we're experts in any way, shape, or form. We've just been there, and we can help you get out of it. It's just understanding that nobody is unattainable, and some people may have extra walls, just like some people may have extra security guards, right? Energy knows no boundaries. Hi, Lily. Was there something specific that happened for you before you came into union? Feeling, knowing, visuals? Gypsy, when I was young, I just kind of analogized it as a box inside of me. And it was the knowing that I had a big love. It was the knowing that there was something out there, someone out there, some energy out there that matched mine, it mimicked mine. And everybody I met, even everybody I married, and this is my third marriage, I knew wasn't them until I met Lee. And I knew it was him without a doubt. But I did go through quite a few Kundalini awakenings. I had to die to a lot of the things that I attached myself to. I had to let go of a lot of the belief systems that were instilled in me that I didn't believe in. And I had to learn to love and forgive myself for a lot of things before I could be in union with Lee, for sure. For sure. Hi, Glamas. I love this approach. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. How have both you and Lee navigated trust issues in your connection? It's in the beginning was super rough. Because of Lee's past, and then obviously I was no angel. It depends. There could be a time, 5 days from now, 5 years from now, 5 months from now, 5 hours from now, that I'll feel insecure and I'll feel like icky about something. And then I have to stop, and a lot of you will hear me preach this a lot. I have to stop, like Cesar Millan and myself, and touch my chest here, and knowing that, am I thinking or am I feeling? Because in my feels, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can trust with 1000%. Sometimes my head tells me that I shouldn't. I'm sure sometimes his head tells him the same thing. I never have to worry about Lee cheating on me physically, emotionally, in any way, shape, or form. It's them damn video games, y'all. It's them games on his phone I feel jealous of. He's on them. And I get it. This is what Lee does. He does this all day. He does this every day. He talks people down off bridges and ladders all the time. He talks to people who are in serious, serious, serious need of his knowledge and his guidance and his wisdom. And but there are times when I'm like, can you just put your phone down? Because he'll come downstairs and the first thing he'll do is pick up his phone and play a game. I know he has to decompress. That's his thing. He decompresses. He's got to decompress so he can come to me kind of clear-minded and not bring me everybody's burdens that he's taken on throughout the day, right? But yeah, it's video games. It's not. He's got a PS5. He doesn't even play with the PS5s or anything. I don't know. I think the Bubble Pop. I mean, I play Bubble Pop, but I've seen him playing Bubble Pop. I don't know. Maybe he likes popping bubbles. I don't know. Maybe he does something for him. I don't know. But it was hard in the beginning. It's easier as time goes by. It's much easier for everybody if you just let go. And the only way you can do that is to find the love for yourself that they see in you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me see. I think I've missed some. Hi, Tara. Knowing my situation, would you say this is my dark night, and how or where should I start the healing process? I would say you've been stuck in a dark night for a while. And you'll hear me say this to a lot of people, but you have the key. Like, I try not to catch myself looking outside of me for healing. I look outside of me for guidance all the time, right? But for healing, I know that the key is in me. And I just feel like you have some things that you need to pull out and look at and just stare at and wonder why they're even still there. And Marie Kondo that shit. And I want to address this because there's a couple things I wanted to address tonight. I'm going to go a little bit over because I came in late. But Lee was explaining to me about somebody who was watching the live, and I was explaining root camp to them, right? And then Lee got an email that said she didn't get out of root camp what she thought she did. I personally took it upon myself to go watch her sessions. He didn't question me, but I watched them. And there has to be a place where you want to heal, where you want to listen to guidance and not be combative and try to counteract everything somebody says to you. And I'm not talking about you personally, Mama T. I'm talking about in general. I didn't want to get that confused. It just popped in my head that you might be taking it that I'm talking to you and I'm not. There's got to be a point in time when you look at yourself and you think there's a lot going on in here, and I'm just gonna leave it be. Or I'm going to take the easy way out, right? And there was so much powerful guidance in those sessions that I personally found 3 things in me that I had to bring up and look at again. Because of what Lee was saying to another person. And that person combatively discounted everything he said. And it was always about her being right. And anyway, I wanted to address that. There's another thing I wanted to address also is I saw a comment, and I'm working on the comments. It takes YouTube like 24 to 48 hours to put the comments in for some. Anyway. Someone said early on in one I think it was maybe my first Ask Sherry, it may have been, and she said, I can't believe, I don't know who it was, but she said, I can't believe they still have, I guess I was referring to arguments or misunderstandings or whatever. Hello, we are human beings living in a human world. And speaking of humans, here comes Mom.
Be quiet, I'm not talking to you.
What do you have a session?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm going over.
I know, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, love you.
Love you. Yeah, they come up, y'all, and it's not, hi, Maria. I'm not like going to lie and say that we don't, because I want you to see us as these immortal beings that, are perfect, because we're not, and we never will be. And that's what we strive to be, is just everyday human. And every day we just try to live as in much spirituality as we possibly can. But there are a lot of times when he just works my last nerve. And I know that there are other twin flames in union out there who can attest to what I'm saying. I know for a fact that Alan can be a real big, not nice guy. And I know for a fact that Sandra can be snippy too, right? And I know that Danny gets on Brooke's nerves and Brooke gets on Danny's nerves. It happens. We're human. We're gonna. The difference is we know how to communicate. We know how to come back. We know how to understand that we are connected, and not every human thing is going to. Not every human thing is going to take us down, but nothing is going to take us down. We're just human and fighting over hamburger or pork or what's for dinner or why are you slamming the dishes around like that, or you stop making noise, or don't coach me. That's my thing. Don't coach me. I say that to Lee all the time. Don't coach me. It happens. I mean, we're human. Do you think we ride around? You hear me say this on all of our past videos. Do you think we ride around on freaking magic carpet ride and sprinkle fairy dust all over everybody? That's not how it works. Like we do ugly work, but it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And we're just here trying to complete mission or leave it to somebody else to complete. Hell, we don't even know. And sometimes it gets frustrating. We still fight over. I spent Amazon, and and toy trucks. You know, I mean, it just happens. We're not perfect. I've been dealing with. Wait a minute. Mama T, I think to answer the second part of your question, where you should start is where I started at the beginning, your very first memory, with very first thing you can remember from your childhood. Like, is it a positive memory? Is it a negative memory? Either one, look at it, embrace it, love it, or realize that it no longer serves you. And you can't blow it away. It's still going to be in your hand. Give it a kiss. Give it a squeeze, put in a little healing, stick it back till you need to pull it out and look at it some more. Been dealing with health issues for the last almost 2 years. Did Lee ever try to leave? What's the best way to navigate illness and the connection? Well, there's the question of all questions, because most of you know that I was even in hospice care. No. Lee never tried to leave. As a matter of fact, he really tried to stay by my side. As much as he could. I mean, and still work. I mean, this is what we do for a living. This is what we do. So it's not like, he's off doing a 9 to 5. He's up here where I'm sitting, like from sometimes 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and maybe coming down for 30 minutes and maybe coming down for an hour. But there's a lot of times when he's 9 to 9. And, so his brother stayed with me when I was super sick, and I also did the same for him when he had his back surgery in 2010. I mean, I took care of him. I did everything I could to help him heal physically. I mean, I had to shower him. I had to wipe him. Yeah, I did. And it didn't bother me a bit, because he was my 20s, who I was connected to. And years later, he had no idea. We had no idea that I was going to be in hospice care days away from dying before I got a transplant. And he stayed with me the whole time, even when I was out of my mind with encephalopathy. When I was cussing him, calling the police on him, out of my mind, and I had so much ammonia in my brain, I would call 911 on him and his brother. So much stuff. I mean, if you guys knew the half of it, you would just be amazed. Hitting on him, punching on him, calling him names. I thought he was my stepdad at one point. I was just wearing him out. And fighting him in the middle of the street, walking down the street in the middle of the street. I mean, so much. And he stayed right by my side. He supported me 100,000%. He was there when I went to sleep for transplant. He was there when I woke up for transplant. He's been there. And I know it wasn't easy at a lot of times. It wasn't easy when his back was healing, when he had back surgery, but I didn't care. I wanted to make sure that he was taken care of, and he did the same for me. And it's just understanding and communication. Like, there was times when I would feel guilty because I couldn't walk and do the house. I couldn't clean up the house, and I slept all day, and I would be riddled with guilt. And it was him saying to me, you know what? I know you're sick. And he learned how to put my IV in. He learned how to change my drain bags, like everything. And I don't believe there could be any other way if you're in union. I really don't. I really don't. I can't imagine somebody who's connected to somebody so spiritually walking away from them when they are physically dying or in so much pain. I just couldn't imagine. I really want to tell my twin that he is a twin flame, but I'm not sure he would accept that or understand that. We have known each other for 40 years and are friends, long separation. Yeah, you know what? I told Lee, and I shouldn't have. I didn't know what a twin flame was. I just said, I feel like you're my big love, the one that I've waited for so many years, and the one that I've had in my soul for so many years. And I feel like you just popped open the top of the box and jumped out like you were on a birthday cake. And there are certain people you can tell about the connection, and certain people you can't. If they're disconnected from themselves, I would say let them figure out the connection for themselves with maybe a little push of guidance every now and then, but not much. Or, maybe you could be out to dinner and say, I read something on a twin flame today or whatever, and I really resonated with it. What do you think? I don't know what a twin flame is. Okay. That kind of thing. So, I don't know. He cheats on you, yeah. I know I need it, but at this point, I don't have the money. Mama T, your healing doesn't cost a thing. It just doesn't. Guidance might, but your healing does not cost a thing. Just start from the beginning and just start pulling things out and looking at them. Face the things and the fears that you have from whatever it is that you went through in your past, in your childhood, and realize that you can't fix them. You can't go back and change them. They're part of who you are. And once you accept that and you begin to feel that love for yourself, a whole bunch of things are going to open up for you. I know it. I've seen it. Hi, Mario. Sin. Hey, girl. I always miss the beginning of these lives. I'm going a little bit late today because I was eating, so I'm, okay. Yes, it's always an adventure to me. Some of the funniest arguments, not at the time, though. No, they're not funny at the time. No, they're not. Hi, Sherry. Y'all give me so much hope and appreciation for my connection because you're proof that it sticks for life, and it's such a rewarding bond. Hi, JB. Man, it is the truth, and there's, we argue different. We don't disrespect one another. We don't call each other out of our names. It would be like me calling, if I was to call. Now, here's how this goes. I'm gonna reveal to y'all a little secret, a little Sherry and Lee secret. Y'all ready? If Lee does something that's less than desirable, And believe me, he's guilty. I will not call him out of his name and say you're a dick. He's not a dick. But I will say that was a dick move. Probably shouldn't have done that. That was a dick move. But I'll never call him out of his name. Right? Right. But I'll let him know when things weren't as desirable as they could have been. Right? We could have handled that a whole different way. Like, that was a dick move. The move I'm calling out of its name. Not the mover. Right? I hope you guys get me on that. I came up with that all by myself too. I'm bending down because I'm reading the comments because I can't see the big picture here. I had that happen to me. My twin flame walking away after breaking my hip with karmic. Still working on forgiveness and trust. Girl. Why did he walk away after breaking your hip? I'm curious. Was it just the pressure? I'm curious. My trust with my DM is completely gone. If we could co-parent like normal people, I would be happy. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. I've been fortunate and lucky, and we've been able to co-parent for 14 years, like it's our job, right? We really have. He's been amazing, and I hate to hear that somebody's going through it where they're, they're having to fight, especially over kids and visitation, and money, and so many, different things. It's a real shame when somebody can't really get the fact that it's really not even about them. It's not even about them. Oh my goodness, look at this. I'm a mess. I got this eye thing full of, did I get it? No. I'm smearing makeup all over my face. That's great. Okay, whatever, it's fine. Did I get it? It's fine. It's like having a booger in my nose, in my eye. Whatever. Okay. That's what I've been trying to do. Thank you, Sherry, for these sessions. Feeling like healing support for the Divine Feminine. Time to expand. Oh, I hope so. I hope I'm making sense. Clarity. Oh my God, I needed this conversation. How much do you get into the spiritual, Sherry? I'm learning about ancestral demons on the spiritual path. I live a very spiritual life, as much as I possibly can. I have a very odd, I call it odd, I judge it myself, belief system. I do some ritualistic things. Like I do believe in the energies and that powerfulness of the crystals. I do believe that my personal spirit guides and angels come through my oracle card readings. I'm also a medium, and so I actually hear audible voices. I get names. I get images, and things that nobody could possibly know that just fly out of me. And I learned early not to say too much because I might sound funny, but then when I did mention the odd and funny things, they were like, nobody could possibly know that. So I now just don't hold back. I'll just say anything. But I do call on my angels a lot. I believe in a spiritual heaven and hell within here. I've spent plenty of time in hell, and I spent plenty of time in heaven. I really believe it's a choice. You can live in heaven, you can live in hell. I don't know about demons. I do believe in angels, and I believe that everything has an opposite, but I believe that my angel guides are my spirit family, I guess I should say. the ones that I was spiritually connected to, my father, my son, my grandmother, a couple of really good friends I had who I've lost. Yeah, I have a handful of people that I call on. And so I do work with my pendulum a lot. Me and spirit are very in tune. I do a lot of meditations. I do a lot of workshops. Um, I do a lot of breathing exercises. I do a lot of things, but the most important thing to me spiritually is being one with myself and with the earth, and really trying to stay as positive in my mind as possible. And there are negative things that happen that I want to have a negative result. So I have to, those are the things that I feel like I have to work on when I'm when I'm expecting a negative result, or I'm wanting a negative result. I've had to work on that a lot over the past few months. And I don't have a problem like saying, hey, I have to get over, wishing that karma would hit this person or karma would hit that person, and just know that the universe works in ways that um, it just does. It just is. It just goes. And my job is to go the next day and do what I can do. And I'm real I'm real in tune with Maya, which is the illusion of self, and really try not to be the human form of me as much as the spiritual form in a human body. But I also try not to be so spiritually minded on no worldly good. So it's a balance. It's a balance. It's deep hurt and betrayal from my DM hurt feelings. We communicate terribly, and both are not in the heart, so our sun is in the middle. That's a shame, JB. If you would both get out of your heads and into your hearts, or at least one of you needs to start that. And you're here, so that may be a message. I tried to communicate with my famous twin in the 5D, but I feel like he just ignores it. I'm wondering how that happens. I'm wondering how you can be ignored in the 5D. I don't know that I believe you can. I feel like your mind can tell you that it can. I feel like your mind can convince you that he's going or she's going to ignore you if you talk to them. But I feel like if you let your heart open up to the possibility, then that's when you're going to hear from that person. I really believe that. My twin flames family has lots of influence over him. They approved more of the karmic than me. My twin flame and I were fighting because of the karmic's involvement. At the same time, I broke my hip. Got it. Got it. Hey guys, it is 7:25. You know what? I don't even know what time it is because this time change has me a mess. Hi, divinely empowered love. How are you? But thank you guys for hanging with me for so long. But I was trying to finish up dinner, so I came on a little bit late. So thank you for sitting with me this long again. I'll be back next week. Tonight is going to consist of a hot bubble bath with the fireplace going, a couple candles, some pink Himalayan salt. I have some mud from the Dead Sea, and I am going to go into the biggest healing meditation for everybody who is with us tonight, and everybody who watches this after it's aired after tonight. So if you're hearing this, I'm meditating and asking my spirit guides to come to you and help you with your healing and guide you in the way that you need to be guided. And I love you guys, and I can't believe that I get 4 people in here, let alone the amount of numbers that I get. It's insane. And I am still working on answering questions. I'll keep on answering questions. There's a lot of things we've got coming up. By the way, I have seen a couple comments, but I gave an email address wrong, and Lee's just losing his pretty little head over it. You can still use it. We're going to get to it. We're going to find it. But if you really, really, really want to work with me by myself, I do those sexual abuse root camps. They're really deep. We really get into a lot of detail. We get into a lot of things that a lot of people won't. I've been there, and I know how it works. So I am actively doing those. I'm also still doing medium readings. Like I said, I only book like 2 or 3 a month. So if you want to get in pretty quickly, then get a hold of me through the thing. And if you want, we are going to be, I forget what I was going to say. Oh, if you want Lee and I together, that's kind of rough, but I'll still do it. I'm really only doing like once a month on those, or maybe sometimes every other week on those, because I have kind of like a limit that I can do so I can stay physically healthy and rested and not have, a whole lot going on here. So if you're interested in the sexual abuse root camp, I just had a waiting list, but I just took the last person off the waiting list and put him in root camp, and we're actually starting tomorrow. So I still have room for a couple more. I can start in the month of March, and then that'll move through February. And so if you want that, get a hold of me, and we'll work that out too. A lot of times you guys are going to see Lee in these hoodies and these sweatshirts. If you guys have been in session with him, you've seen them. They're real very spiritual hoodies, very spiritual sleeves, and he had them in a pile to get rid of. And I thought, you know what, those are super spiritual, and they've helped so many people. You just being in them, talking to other people, and Spirit gave me a vision, and we're going to auction those off. That'll be fun. So and I believe they're like larges and extra larges. Really cool hoodies. You've probably seen him wearing them. If you haven't, go back through the videos. You'll see him in those sweatshirts or in those hoodies. We also have a spiritual retreat we are working on here in our area, Cincinnati, Ohio area, probably this summer sometime. And we're probably only going to take about 5 in this retreat. So, so if you're interested in any of those things, get a hold of me. Relationship Reinvent, REINVENT, Relationship Reinvent @gmail.com. Put Sherry in the subject line, and I'll get it, because Lee's not good at telling me there's emails. Or he'll come down to tell me that there's emails, but I'll be asleep and forget. I mean, a plethora of things could happen. You know what I mean? So, all that. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next week. I gotta